sign a contract, right? But talk to me about the wins and like what you guys saw afterwards. What was the benefit to the community after Closers Olympics was done?
Yeah, I mean, just hearing the tree growing from what happened at the first event to part of the disruption, the relationship with CJ and RJ, and then sales training that happened all across, right? Like brands were built, people that have communities now, and it grew. I think the biggest thing for the community was like the real proof of concept. Like this wasn't some pre-recorded event where it's polished and edited and all the freckles are gone on the camera. Like not like this was like a real live event.
This guy looks thinner in this video. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's Photoshop pictures and whatnot, but it showed a real life aspect of the sales process in real estate, and it showed people on what it actually takes to get deals and having to going through all the no's and the tough conversations and people not answering. Like that's a real life thing that happens in this industry. So it just showed the proof of concept for people, and that really propelled it quite a bit.
Yeah, and I one of the reasons why I love watching sports, I don't watch as much as I used to, is you love to see how people battle through adversity.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if you watch like the Miami Heat, right? They didn't win the championship, but they don't complain about the officiating.
Right.
That's facts.
Exactly.
Right. It's just about the business, right?
Yep.
Like one of the things that I learned was like you got to play through the officiating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. You don't let the officiating. You got to be so good that there's no suspicious. Like even if the judging was like off, it doesn't even matter. Right.
Yeah.
You put it out of his hands.
Yep.
Right. So it was kind of fascinating to see that, and we got to see some people get flustered, some people didn't. Now you were you weren't one of the original organizers, right? You kind of came in to save the day.
Yeah, I was 911 call
Right.
for
He's
help.
the rescue line. The rescue
Right.
line.
Yeah.
So, but your boy made it to the finals,
Yeah, Adrian.
right?
Yep. And Andy. Yep, both of them.
So Adrian won, and Andy made it to the finals. Talk to me about what happened for the people that watched, because you guys had over 1,000 people.
Yeah. Like 13, the first one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me, like, did you see any, like, how did the people that signed up and watched, how did they win?
Man, I've seen, especially the audience, I feel like not only did I think they had a multiple unknown benefits that happened. I think at first they're just watching because they're supporting whoever their favorite guru was.
Yeah, root for their guy.
Right, rooting for the guy, the favorite team. But unlike basketball, I could watch the basketball game, and I could watch them, and I leave. This year, I'm learning skill set. I'm seeing technique. I'm seeing how they deal with adversity. I'm seeing how they blaming leads, blaming judges, or focus on the controllables. And then at that time, we had people allow them to send their leads in. We were calling their leads. So people literally walked out with $15,000, $20,000 they end up making by having these top closers close, and they got the relationship with them now.
Right.
So I feel like that's an added bonus. I don't think they really anticipated happening.
Yeah.
And that's a definitely tremendous value they got.
Yeah, I think another thing is just people, they're sharing their favorite coaches and everything like that, competing in the competition. And just for people to be like, you know what? He going through the same thing that I go through on a regular basis. So I think that right there, it helped people overcome certain objections, and also people identify their closing style, from the people that was in the competition. Like, you know what? I resonate more with Steve, so let me go to Steve's training, or I resonate more with Elijah. So I think that was a good thing too, And
I think one of the things that you see when they're watching their favorite guy go or whatever, this person that was an influencer who was like talking at the camera on Instagram,
right?
And I say, oh, like he's actually not that much better than me on the phone.
right.
And
humanized them.
Right, it's not a bad thing, right?
Right.
But what we did is we made closing more realistic for them. So it went from this thing as like, can I ever do this?
One day over there.
Right? Like, yeah, man, I'm going to work up the courage one day. And then there were people that posted that chat, for better or for worse. They're like, these guys aren't that much better than me.
Yeah, I saw it for a handful of guys.
Right? It's like,
it's crazy too. Is
I should be doing this.
Right? Because we won't mention any names, but when you're making calls and you're in your office, you could go a little gray. You go a little gray, up to that line. Sometimes some people cross the line, some people don't.
Right.
But nobody knows. When you have 1,000+ people watching you, the chat box like, he's lying. He lied to him. And then you fell and you lose. It just has a different level of sting to it. But I think it humanizes it. And so I think by having that humanizing factor, you got to start seeing like, hey, if I come to the gray line, that can happen to me.
Right.
Let me just do it the right way, and I don't have to worry about it.
Well, it's funny you talk about the gray line, right? Because remember the guy that was really angry, right? It was really colorful with his language, right?
Yeah.
We had over 1,000 people watching, so I didn't get the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have 1,000 people watching, I'm getting that deal,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because
Right.
the things I can say,
Right. You counter that.
To your point, yeah.
It's a little
To your
different.
benefit, yeah.
like I can't promise you to pay you outside of escrow. 1,000 people watching is
Right.
recorded.
Yeah, you don't
Right.
want to
Broker's license
advise
on the
those
line.
tactics.
Right.
FCC
Right.
The guy's
watching.
saying, he's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm trying to avoid paying taxes on this. I can't say, well, what if there's a way?
I can creatively make that happen. Divert the IRS.
Like, Always
what if
a way.
I,
Yeah,
yeah,
what you wanna
what if
say.
I pay you, in crypto, right? In Bitcoin. Like, I can't say these things with 1,000 people watching.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
like, here's what I want to say. Here's what I'm going to say right now.
Right. Right.
It does
That's
change
what
it.
investments.
If you like what you just saw, click this video next to me to watch the full episode.